Hey everyone, Batel Skater here. Welcome back to my channel. I really wanted to make this really informative segment here since I started doing this in 2020. I legit started doing this in 2020, and I'm going to explain everything from scratch. My way, okay? So welcome everybody. This is Batel Skater. This is consciousness speaking. This is a physical form who is fully aware that it's consciousness. Now, in 2020, when everything collapsed for everybody, the human condition, and you guys were programmed on TV to stay home real quick and indulge in negative TV programming by the narcissistic pandemic, which considered vaccines, superficial dysmorphia, and so on and so on and so on. I'm going to talk about everything. I just recorded this awesome walk that we took together. And what you were watching in that video is consciousness moving around. So consciousness comes in all forms. That also includes thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Now, I drew a few things here so we can have some fun today. And I always pitch my voice and sound a bit strange because I had to shrink my identity as consciousness these past 4 years, realizing that nobody was consciousness. And so I went through a lot of crap and now deleted my narc videos. YouTube has demonetized my channel. Uber basically, got me out of the app in a heartbeat for a narc driver who tried to abuse me. I was attacked by 15 people on the plane a few months ago. Lots of things happened. Things that only happened to me because I was focusing on it for the channel. Many may not understand what I mean, but everything is energy and everything is not what you think it is. So I'm going to break down people who are intelligent enough to listen and evolve as what they really are. As you can see, we are living in a perpetual dominant fear-based reality. I'm not going to call it a society because there's no such thing anymore. What you're seeing outside is bacteria. So let's begin. Everything is science. If you zoom into anything, you will see yourself in a smaller portion, in a smaller size. Now, the human condition is very annoying, very opinion-based, very mental programmed. Stupid idiots, absolutely out of their fucking mind. This, many people can call a planet, because the human condition and people in general who were born here before us created the English language, created words, created music, created labels. So we, as physical so-called human beings, can identify with things and live in a 3D reality as people. So we already sunk that one in, right? Somebody identified us as a specific thing at a certain place in a certain time back in the day, and we were called human beings. Now, human beings went out of their way to identify with who they are, such as preferences, likes, dislikes, belief systems, hair colors, gender change, which there's nothing wrong with that. And we're going to talk about a lot of things here today. We're going to talk about everything. Now, this is, again, for people who have a brain, okay? So here we go. People who still know consciousness, okay? Not people who only see themselves as some sort of victim in the 3D right now. Now, let's scroll back down to back in the day. You know, we have scientists who lived here. We have psychologists who lived here, who labeled narcissism, who called out the words, right? Different categories and dimensions, different spectrums on the so-called human disorder. What bugs me about everybody is people say, we don't know what causes narcissism. We don't know, blah, 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 doesn't know. Now, who says that? The Matrix 3D dumbasses who think they're human. Now, let's pass the evolution. Let's fast forward to 2020, all right? Let's fast forward to 2020, evolution. The evolution increased in little idiots starting to really, really strongly identify with their job and becoming very grandiose about it. Even therapists have a very loud and unattractive, superficial sense of self, which is very repulsive. Now, it's repulsive because they actually teach people that behavior is totally cool. Now, again, I say that I hide my real identity all the time because I actually bring a fake 3D identity onto the channel in order to exist here on the channel. Okay? Now, when we really talk about the ingrainment of what happened in 2020, let's really recap. When I was sitting down as a conscious being, watching everybody, literally, and when I say everybody, I say the human condition. Now let's go back here. This right here is considered an Earth, right? Zoom into it and people say, we're human! And zoom more into it, and human beings have televisions, and human beings have internet, and human beings have a lot of fucking mental issues because they pop babies and abuse each other and constantly provoke each other for problems, you know, just stuff. And where are these stuff coming from, right? Let's get back to science here. When the average normal asshole, you know, not many people are geniuses. Keep that 100. If you look at the average person on YouTube who gets billions and billions of viewers, most videos are pretty dumb. They're not educational. They're not self-developing. They actually shrink. They shrink the brain, right? So they started basically teaching everybody a long time ago to do crazy things and get views for it. For example, when Instagram came out, and then TikTok came out. And then the behavior got so bizarre that they started to normalize it, aka all people look the exact same way, plastic surgery. If you are not superficial, you are, you know, and when we say superficial, you have to understand, we're talking about consciousness shrinking. We're not talking about consciousness expanding like scientists. No. We're talking about consciousness shrinking, and assholes like psychologists want to sit there and say, I don't know. No cure. no awareness, because they are themselves superficial, grandiose motherfuckers who really find themselves to be Hollywood stars, bro. I have no fucking respect for any motherfucker who sits there, yo, boy, in this place and this time right now where we are in the effing world. If you still see through the lens of 3D, you are blind as fuck. Blind as fuck, and it's not your fault. It's the TV's fault. It's your psychologist's fault. Let's talk about psychology. Psychology is all about the brain. It's all about, let's see if you're lying. Let's see if you're wearing a mask. Let's see if you're being sincere. Is your heart a good heart? Are you a good person? Who made up these fucking rules? Somebody back in the day. Now, let's talk back to rules in science. Let's start here. This is a brand new germ. The germ, the name of the germ is consciousness. Now, why do I say that? Do you see this? This whole entire thing is consciousness. Okay, now when I speak, we're still not talking about psychology here. So it's not like a place that you have to get to. It's a visual understanding. You see it, okay? And you are it, right? That's when you hopefully have an ego death or have some sort of epiphany about whatever, or something cracks in your body and dissolves, which is your false self. All the conditioning that's like attached. Anyway, this is consciousness. And now, this I drew this in a very, very dope way. I wanted to write things down, but then I whooped the video up and I was like, let's make a whole video. You see these people, when you look at my previous video that I uploaded earlier this morning, there's a lot of people, so-called people. In the 3D world, it's considered a person. Now, when I say 3D, it's legit your state of consciousness. And because there's all sorts of conscious states, there's not only one way of being and experiencing life. That's what the human condition forgot. Anyway, because they're not science-based, they are ego-based. They are TV-based. Retards throwing crap in their body all day, every day, shrinking and then wondering what's happening outside. It's hilarious. And then everybody else wants to get mad, for example, calling them all sorts of demons and shit, instead of really looking at the bigger picture scientifically. Science. And we're still going to talk back to 2020. We're still going to throw 2020 in your face. In your face. In your face, mofos. So now, every single body, you see here, we have eyes. And normally you will see a body over here, a drawn body. Now, the average, like every 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D, they see themselves differently. For example, a one-dimensional eye, consciousness, that's the energy. See, it's still here. You see, everything is consciousness. Nothing is separated. But separation exists in states of consciousness. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. But the bacteria and you can say the deterioration really of consciousness is coming from, we'll talk about 2020, but I'm sure you guys are already seeing where we're going with this. Right here, a one-dimensional being is a one-dimensional germ inside here, inside consciousness. So it experiences itself as this negative black hole. Same thing in 2D. However, you can say, you see, who knows who was the first abuser? But negative and positive always exist, like a shark, right? You can say you know, in my opinion, sharks are effing scary as fuck. I mean, they're fucking ugly. They're fucking scary looking ass motherfucker. They're fucking ugly, okay? Depending on the shark. Not every shark is ugly. The little ones, in my opinion, are very cute, but the big yo. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You see this reaction? There's always negative and positive in the world. And everything has a reaction, and everything exists in consciousness. Okay? But the problem with the 3D people is that they actually believe that they are people and that there's God and the devil. And now they get punished and abused, right? The germs in consciousness. They get abused from childhood. Okay, now listen. This is consciousness right here. This is consciousness right here. So this whole thing, imagine putting the baby right here, right down there. That's consciousness moving around all the time. All the time. Just like you saw in the last video that I just posted. Consciousness moving around, and everything, consciousness is always moving around. You're not separated from it. 3D beings are separated from it. Unconscious beings are separated from it. And narcissists are just bacterias. And they're still consciousness like you and everything else, but you guys are seeing things completely different. And so you're experiencing things the way that you're experiencing them because now, let me have a sip of coffee. Always gotta have that sip of cafe before we talk that real ish. Know what I mean? These are very fun, by the way. These are really fun. In the 3D world, when the germ, consciousness itself, it was born a whole being without any of these issues, unless the mother was abused while being pregnant. And of course, when I say mother and father and stuff, that's still the 3D. You see, this is what I want to talk about. Well, we're going to talk about everything. So now, in the 3D world, the body is programmed to believe that it's a gender, that it's a person, that it's, when we look at the body and we start throwing labels on it, consciousness is morphing into a self. Consciousness is being detached from science. You see, when consciousness is born, it's naturally born to be the powerful son of a bee that it naturally is supposed to be. But since 1D, 2D, 3D beings, germs, not beings, you see, it's too fucking huge, boy. All right. So they want to say mother, father, parents, grandparents. So let's say somebody gets abused or physically, let's say there's a trauma happening to this kid here, which most people go through. These ideas are so hardwired in consciousness that it's like there's a ring here, right? Obsessive thinking, ego, also the body. That's why people get, for example, for a long time, we had this phenomena where people were very nervous to go out on dates, to be themselves, to text each other, to be authentic, to have, comfortable sexual intercourses because they were very, very, very insecure. Now, insecurity is not a light topic. Insecurity comes from a mental programming. And everybody, the conscious body, I don't want to speak to people like they're fucking kids. I really want to break the program for you. So I'm not going to talk to you like I should feel bad about what I'm saying and try to like lighten up your emotions, okay? Your ego is a false self. Your consciousness and whoever you are in front of the mirror right now is basically a whole bunch of programs. You can unprogram yourself if you want to, aka dissolving the mind, which is always looking internally and dissolving thoughts. Dissolving. Then you become pure consciousness. You don't see that outside. People like to stay... Most people don't even actually know how to detach from the mind. This is where the big problem is. So let's keep talking about the 3D. The 3D brain is too conditioned to believe that it's human. So every time I say stuff like I'm consciousness, people don't get it. Some people do, a lot of people don't. They don't understand what it means, and it's really sad to see how many people are unaware of who they even are. And this is why I'm making this video today, because everything is science-based. It's not about you being a person. And hopefully we can crack that program out for you. And it's not my responsibility also to get you there. It's something that will... You get there. I just kind of goof about it over here on the channel because, man, nobody's teaching these topics right now. Like, it's all some fake-ass astrology shit. How things are changing and things are this. And it's like, yo, who are you motherfuckers type shit? Like, who is the dumb-ass motherfucker that... Like, who are you type shit? Like, are you serious? Anyway. So back to the programs here. So every time... You see, when you detach from the ego... You become... Alright. We'll just go up lightly, okay? We'll go up light. So here, back to how people see things. Let's say this is a 3D person. And it's still part of consciousness, moving consciousness. The energy. Exactly what you saw in the video this morning. What you see is your state of consciousness. What you focus on, everything's moving energy, sounds, what you see, people, faces, people, stores, words, colors, everything's always moving around, but you are everything. Always moving around. But since people are detached from not only knowing this, all right, people are detached from themselves, first of all, because they are so programmed to believe something in their head, just like I said, the programs. From somebody who they, and, all right, yeah, there's a lot to say. I get really excited. Very excited. Man, there's like 3 different topics that I wanted to throw in one sentence. Let's say someone programs you as a 3D being. Your mind is programmed to be a 3D vision. It's absolutely programmed, just like the narcissist can only see 2D. That's why, for example, when you sit next to one or anything, you give them an automatic reflection to talk to you and start throwing their shit at you because they think that's them. It's a bacteria. Anyway, let's go back to 3D. So a 3D being, for example, this is a good one. A 2D being can only do negative things and abuse and attack people that it looks at. A 3D being lives in this 24/7 time thing. So if they have a grandma or a grandpa or a father or a mother, and somebody like me on YouTube tells them to dissolve their mind, they're going to be absolutely scared to do that. Because the 3D is gonna die. Once, all right, you see, I really do change my voice. I just feel very uncomfortable when I talk about certain things because I really know what's going on outside, all right, and in every dimension. So it's like holy moly's. But a 3D being, when you have grandpa, grandparents, when you even have kids, the timeline is completely different. Completely different. These problems are outside are insane. They are real, okay? They are beyond this world, okay? Because you are a dense 3D being. You identify as a human. You identify with everything that you experience. You identify with your age and that time. So dissolving from the ego and starting to, for example, live consciously and do things consciously and do things energetically and stuff like that is very foreign. It's very scary. It's not understood. Because the body is so programmed to only know itself as a matrix body, and everything else, anything outside of that is absolutely wrong. God's gonna punish you. It's not true. You must be some sort of Namin. And why? People have no idea fucking what science is. What is a sound? What is voice? What is words? What are belief systems? Aren't all of these things energies? Aren't they? We have parasites. 2D beings who destroy everything. The narcissism. Did I write that down somewhere? Narc TV. Here we go. The narcissism Schlemek. The narcissism, listen, in 2020, when that shit hit the fan, I was instantly, and I'm gonna emphasize this 1,000 times, I was the first son of a bitch instantly to start teaching about the brain. Literally. The video is private, and it's amazing. I can go back in time and just like show the whole fucking world that I started talking about these things scientifically even back in 2020. And what you're seeing outside is the revelation of what was going to happen based off of what I was saying. In 2020, when Plan Schnemek happened, and I was talking about the false self and the true self, it's because I know exactly how the false self sounds and what the false self is all about. So let's talk about the false self scientifically. The false self is a germ that lives in 2D, and it lives on lies. It's detached from the world, so it's not connected to consciousness at all. It actually destroys consciousness and goes against consciousness, hence creating a effing black hole in space, which is the air that I'm constantly talking about. The air. When you walk into a narcissist's house and there's negative energy, the air is infected. The air. The air. When motherfuckers are sitting there on TikTok and creating all these stupid ass videos and the whole world is watching it, the air. The whole world is watching it, getting angry, reacting to it, obsessing over it, leaving comments on people's section about it. Let's see. And this is consciousness. This is consciousness. This is everybody's fucking consciousness. This is everybody just energy, energy, energy. Fucking things up, fucking things up, fucking things up, fucking things up. All of a sudden, there is litter everywhere. There is stupid robots and simulated people on their phone everywhere. There's people arguing with you over science-based things everywhere. Now, why is that? Because you guys were programmed in Planchnamek, boy. On TV. By your orange face. And the new white... I was going to say his name, but I don't even want to say his name on this channel. There's no his name, but the two-dimensional beings and the 3D people who are completely programmed and scared to death, they're gonna oblige and obey by the false self who needs a reflection to exist. Now, this is evolution of consciousness. This has nothing to do with people. This has nothing to do with society. Society is actually collapsing. Narcissists ruin everything and destroy everything. And then when it's all said and done, what do you have left? Emptiness. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. What's going to happen? These things are going to happen to the people who are indulging in these situations in the 3D. That's exactly what you're seeing outside. Now, when I talk about these things, again, I cringe. Because people's minds are just somewhere else right now. They're just not getting it. So back to science. Now, since everything is consciousness and it's always moving around, consciousness always is experiencing itself in different forms of energy. Forget TV and forget social media because it is going to scramble up your brain. During this whole situation, we spoke about the Matrix. We spoke about everything, right? Videos are now gone. YouTube is acting some type of way with me for a very long time. There are no authentic people on YouTube. So back to here. So only 2D brains are in operation right now. So wow. How many times do I have to tell people who watch my videos to detach from the mind and be conscious? You don't need to be more powerful than them. You don't need to be in competition with the parasites or the false selves. You just need to be detached and be one with everything and flow. And then when you operate as the universal energetic consciousness, which is everything, everything flows. You see, for example, whatever happened in the Uber situation happened actually for my benefit. And things just flow. And you just gotta go along with it. When you go against it and try to be all, oh, I gotta be attached to it because the whole simulation is, oh, I gotta be attached to it because what am I supposed to do if I don't have it anymore? Bitch, listen. This is happening for a reason. But it's not even for a reason. Let's go back to science. Since the two-dimensional beings are programming 3D beings to be just like them, including all the kids in school, that's why you see simulations disappearing in midair and stuff like that. There's different timelines playing along in consciousness. Only you will get to experience it if you see it. There's a lot of minds who are absolutely afraid of what's going on because they just want to fucking identify with their personality. And they also want to throw a bunch of fear-based comments on my channel and keep this channel in a fucking stagnated fucking place because they don't understand what I'm teaching. Because they still want to stay being a fucking human instead of... Alright. When you're a 3D motherfucker, you operate from the mind and society. Everything is energy. Energy is literally mailman dropping mail in your mailbox every morning. It's moving energy. Bloop, there's the mail. It's just there. It is just happening in the now. Boom, the bus driver's driving in the effing morning. That's what it's consciousness moving, it's energy moving around. The 3D motherfucker is gonna be like, that's a people, that's a person, that's their ego, that's their face. Is she or he cute? Am I supposed to have sex with them? There are 3D, 2D, 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, 100D, 1 billion, thousand fucking D. There's all sorts of levels of consciousness and fucking understanding and experiences in life. One day you could be a person going outside and identifying with your fucking race on a daily fucking basis, and you're gonna experience people being racist towards you because you're identifying with it. It's a thought. Stoops. Consciousness is everything. Are you waking up to what I'm teaching here on this channel, Stoops? Or what? Or what? Or what? Motherfuckers who watch hella TV and identify with whatever, let's say his name Biden is doing, they're going to get their brains scrambled. They're going to identify with the crap. And then you're going to see a bunch of little mini Bidens walking outside. But hey, that's their life. That is the germs. That's where they are at. Conscious motherfuckers are like, yep, we're cool. No doubt. 3D motherfuckers are going to be like, what is happening here? Blah, 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 blah. I gotta. Religious motherfuckers are going to be like, I am better than you. Right? Do you see this? Music, sounds, energy, germs. Bloop, 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 bloop. Ding, 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 ding. But people are going to sit there and be like, oh my God, what's happening on TV? What's happening on TV and why the fuck are you listening to it? Consciousness. Consciousness. Consciousness is science. It's not a personality. It's not an ego. And it's not somebody who's pissed off or nice or supposed to be an angelic being. Consciousness is energy. It's whatever you choose to be or do in the present moment. 3D beings, however, they are very structured. They have belief systems. Listen, 3D beings in this channel, they don't match at all. 3D beings, they like to identify with a lot of the 3D matrix stuff, which I have no fucking idea at this point anymore what the fuck they're talking about. So I just don't understand. It's like a foreign language. I'm aware of it, but it's like, what are you talking about? So because they're so dense, all these problems they're having, they're going to be existing as like this. We have to go to the doctor. We have to make sure that this is happening on time. We have to make sure that that I scream or yell at my wife or husband because that's what I believe I have to do in order for them to understand me, for them to get things done right. I have to make sure that I keep up with all the new programs in the construct because if I go against it, they're going to be staring at me some type of way and blah, 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 blah. And that's the 3D. And then you see all the garbage outside and the way that it's looking and blase, blase. So where is that society really going? Right? You have to start paying attention to your ass and feed your ass some food and water, know what I mean? And pay attention to your conscious molecule fucking ass. Because the world is going to keep going around and round and round and round and round. Shit is going to collapse. Shit is going to fucking get destroyed. Shit is going to get eaten alive. And what are you going to do about it? You're going to be watching it. You're going to be experiencing it. You're going to be part of consciousness. Most people want to run away from it and call it, oh my God, am I in hell? Did I get punished? Blah, 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 blah. Who's saying all these things? The ego. I. External. I'm external. I don't understand science. I don't understand what I am. I don't understand. I'm this little motherfucker. I don't understand. I'm living in like 3D. I don't understand. I don't understand. Okay. Okay. So now, I really want to laugh. Okay. I should laugh. I just don't know what's going on out there anymore, in a sense, like in the human realm, because they're just so distorted that it's just like, okay. When you level up consciously and you start to detach from programs, what happens is that when all these words here were piled up in your body, all these belief systems, right? All these belief systems are now completely empty. You understand, okay? And I don't really feel like we need to go there, because where I really want to go is how everything plays as one. Here, the person is detached, believes that it's something, some construct, this Barbie house that they all live in, they all drive a car, they all feel very special. You know, the brain wants to believe that it's gonna die at a specific type of age, and that it's gonna tell its grandkids how great its life was, and stuff like that. Now, if you watch other history kind of things, if you watch other TV kind of things on TV, if you go outside, everything's always moving around, everything's consciousness always fucking moving around. What the fuck do I mean by that? The average douchebag still doesn't understand consciousness at all. So they are shrinking in consciousness. If people were to teach science instead of psychology, or teach conscious evolution to become 5D, 6D, 7D, infinity D, consciousness itself, wouldn't you say that things would look super green and super delicious over here, and everybody would look so healthy and beautiful on TV? And No, we were built up in a structure. We were all built up in a matrix. We all had to be divided as male or female. We all had to be programmed to be good citizens. We had to learn that stealing was bad. We had to learn about race and how we should be divided and fight each other and go against each other, the germs, because apparently your skin color and my skin color, blah 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 blah. Now all of these things are for the 3D people again, and it's very it's you know, when I noticed when I say the 3D world and I try to even sit here and try to teach them, I just like my voice really shrinks, because it's the energy. There's no reason to do that. They're gone. They wouldn't even understand this information right now. Literally, I took a cab 2 days ago, and this was you know, with that fucking psychopath in the fucking whip. And in the station, the words were said this: something about how everybody is just like it's not looking good for education for the kids from the ages of something to 30 something, because see, I get so cringy, oh my god, because the level of education is very poor, and it's actually there's no education at all. And then I was just sitting there and I was like telling myself, I was like, yeah, these motherfuckers are not learning consciousness and they're fucking deteriorating. And as I'm in the car now, I'm just watching, guys, how else am I supposed to explain this shit? Consciousness cannot be explained. You gotta be a son of a bitch to really understand this shit. But if you get what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying. Well, I'm just watching the whole evolution from since we started talking about these things in 2020 until today. You know what I mean? And hey, listen, behind the screens, these past 4 years, I went through hell. I went through so much. Like, oh my God. Only if you knew. The things I've seen. The things that. All the people that attacked me. All the people, all the people, all the people, all the people, all the people. You have no idea. Until I decided to say, you know what, fuck it. I already knew what the fuck I was saying in 2020, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna teach my stuff and leave all this BS, this fake negative, all this nonsense, really, because I teach science. And everything else that is on YouTube is so distorted that even my videos were creating negative polarity on my channel. And it was so bad. It was so bad it started to affect my reflection in real time. Because that's what's happening outside. And that's what everybody... So what is consciousness? It's energy. It's molecules. It's cells. You're not a person. Whatever music or TV shows that you choose to listen to, you keep feeding your molecules with this crap. Are you strong enough to not react to it and just watch it? Or are you the son of a bitch that actually believes that you are your emotions, that you are your programs, that you are your personality, that you are these belief systems, and saying, why are people doing all that? Why are people? Now let's go back to consciousness. There's no such thing as people. Everybody programs everybody. Some people want to believe it. Some people choose to live a whole completely different life. There's no such thing as people. Their level of consciousness is their level of consciousness based off of here. There's no right, there's no wrong. However, it has been shown on repeat that people, the germs, they get easily manipulated by people named Adolf Hitler, aka narcissists. So here I come on this motherfucking channel and I tell the whole fucking world, narcissists can only exist when you give them a fucking reflection because they are germs. They are parasites. They are not people. They are legitimate two-dimensional germs who infect everybody around them if they give them a reflection to exist. You see, this is you minding your own business. And here comes you thinking you could be cool with a narcissist. Once you give a narcissist a reflection, they go blah 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 blah. Most of the time, people stay. And the cycle continues.